Swadika, thank you for joining us on Newsline. We're broadcasting live on NBT, Radio Thailand FM 88, and also on NBT World. It's a Tuesday and the date is November 3rd, and you're with me, Sandra Hanutsaha. His Majesty King Bhumibol Adulyadej has conveyed grief and sympathy over the crash of a Russian passenger plane in Egypt, which has claimed 224 lives on board. In a royal message to the President of the Russian Federation, His Majesty the King said, "The Queen and I are deeply saddened by reports of the crash of Kogomavia airline flight KGL 9268 in the Arab Republic of Egypt, which caused immense loss of lives." The message reads, "We wish to extend our heartfelt sympathy and condolences to Your Excellency, and through you to all the members of the bereaved families who have suffered irreplaceable loss from this tragedy." And welcome to today's segment of Thailand Moves Forward. In our first story for you, the President of Sri Lanka has paid an official visit to Thailand to discuss bilateral relations on all fronts, marking 60 years of relations between the two countries. Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha welcomed Sri Lankan President Maithripala Sirisena during his official visit to the kingdom on November 1st to 4th. The Thai government held an official welcoming ceremony in front of the government house, with both leaders reviewing a guard of honors. The president then discussed bilateral relations with the prime minister, particularly on cultural and religious ties, the facilitation of trade and investment, tourism, and political cooperation. The two parties also marked this year as the 60th anniversary of the Thai-Sri Lankan relations by exchanging stamps that marked 60 years of relations. Deputy Prime Minister Wisanu Kurangam claimed that Section 44 of the Constitution has been invoked to absolve certain officials who could be implied in the rice pledging scheme case as a way to allow authorities who were involved to work transparently. The order was invoked by the head of the National Council for Peace and Order, or NCPO, Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha, who also claimed that Section 44 is being used to create confidence among officials involved in the rice pledging scheme case by ensuring transparency. The Deputy Prime Minister also pointed out that many officials from many provinces have been involved in the case, including some from the private sector. Deputy Prime Minister Wisanu said Section 44 was not targeted at any individual, but solely to create a transparent working environment. Deputy Prime Minister and Defense Minister General Rawit Wongsuwan inaugurated the Defense and Security 2015 event held to connect defense industries across the world in responding to modern threats. General Rawit said modern security threats require more sophisticated technology. In addition to military forces, the Deputy Prime Minister said countries must ready themselves for humanitarian efforts, as well as combating other issues such as human trafficking and drugs.
เราสนับสนุนอยู่แล้วนะครับเวลาเนี้ยแต่ว่ามันก็ยังไม่สามารถที่จะทำเข้าประจำการได้นะแต่ว่าเราก็เริ่มดำเนินการซึ่งก็ถือว่าดีขึ้นมากนะครับในขณะนี้ซึ่งทุกเหล่าทัพก็พยายามทำอยู่แล้วแต่โดยเฉพาะยิ่งทางกระทรวงกลาโหมเนี่ยอุตสาหกรรมป้องกันประเทศที่เราร่วมมือกับทางภาคเอกชนนั้นก็ทำไปได้ไกลนะครับ
The event covered regional defense strategies on all fronts and showcased the latest technologies from leading defense contractors across the world. It also held over 15 seminars on international cooperation, cybersecurity, and networking events between top officials and defense contractors. The agriculture minister insisted that the management of water supply from the Chao Phraya Dam will be focusing on water for consumption. Agriculture Minister General Chachai Sarikanya said that he has discussed with related offices about the water management at the Chao Phraya Dam, where 4.2 billion cubic meters of water are being stored. General Chachai conceded that the current amount of water is considered not much and requires close supervision. He added that by ensuring that 130 cubic meters of water flow through the dam each second, there will be sufficient water supply to last another 9 months or until the next rainy season. The agriculture minister went on to say that the top priority is given to the water supply for consumption while making sure that the ecological system is in balance is the second most important mission of the ministry. The Education Minister has officially opened the International Mathematics and Science Olympic for Primary School 2015, or IMSO 2015, which is being hosted by the Office of the Basic Education Commission. Education Minister General Dapong Ratanasuwan chaired the official opening of IMSO 2015, which began on November 1st and will continue until November 7th at the Convention and Vocational Training Center of Pathum Thani Vocational Education College. The ceremony was joined by related officials and committees from countries that are taking part in this year's event. Secretary General of the Office of Basic Education Commission, Karun Sukunpradit, told the gathering that over 640 participants have come from 20 countries. He said that the presentation of research works and innovation on teaching and learning, as well as various education-related activities and cultural exchanges, will take place throughout the week-long event. The National Reform Steering Assembly, or NRSA, has approved the first draft of its rules of procedure designed to facilitate the Assembly's role in national reform in accordance with the interim constitution. The NRSA appointed Pontip Rochanasunan as one of its press contacts to help in disseminating the Assembly's messages to the public. Afterwards, the NRSA deliberated its own draft rules of procedure that were written by the committee on drafting the NRSA's rules of procedure. The committee revealed that the rules of procedure were written to coincide with the 2014 interim constitution's stipulation of the NRSA's roles, while incorporating rules of the disbanded National Reform Council and ensuring public participation. Constitution Drafting Commission, or CDC, Chairman Mitai Richupan says that proposals for the new electoral system have not been designed to help any political parties, but are aimed at creating reconciliation and echoing the voices of the public. In response to comments that the new electoral system was designed to help small political parties gain seats in Parliament, the CDC chairman disagreed, saying that the new system has been adapted to suit Thailand without factoring in political parties. He added that the electoral system is designed to respect the voices of the people and create reconciliation, because it would help political parties nominate the best candidates. However, Mr. Michai said that the new electoral system remains only a proposal, as the CDC is still open to suggestions from all sectors. And more than 97,000 people in Bangkok have registered to participate in the Bike for Dad bike ride. The largest minority, or over 14,000 people, have registered at the Dusit District Office. The Bangkok Metropolitan Administration, or BMA, on Monday opened the registration for the Bike for Dad event to be held in honor of His Majesty the King on the occasion of his 88th birthday this year. 100,000 people are allowed to register with the BMA for the bike ride. From 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on the 2nd of November of 2015, more than 97,000 registered with 50 district offices in Bangkok and on the website worldwideweb.bikefordad2015.com. Those who have registered to join in the 29-kilometer bike ride on the 11th of December of 2015 will receive gifts including shirts, pins, and wristbands on the 28th to the 29th of November 2015 at Supachalasai Stadium. And that is the end of today's edition of Thailand Moves Forward. It's time for a quick break now, but first we'll have a look at the exchange rates and also the commodity prices.
Thailand is promoting 12 core values for the good of the people. Third core value, being grateful to parents and teachers.
Even if we don't see them, they are amongst us. And they're hungry. Slay your power-sucking monsters. Take their power away. Think when you plug.
Welcome to ASEAN, a community comprised of 10 countries, each with its unique culture and history, now unifying to bring added prosperity to the region. For centuries, each country remained independent, but now we are coming together to compete in the 21st century globalized world. ASEAN is bringing together more than 600 million citizens and a total land area of 4.4 million square kilometers, and is providing economic opportunities, trade, travel, and new educational possibilities. The combined GDP of all 10 ASEAN countries comes to a total of $2.4 trillion, which means the ASEAN entity ranks amongst the world's major economic powers. The future is here. Welcome to ASEAN, the community of opportunities. The Southeast Asia region is now becoming one.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsline. Many Thai companies head to Indonesia seeking business opportunities, and giant businesses like SCG and Bangkok Bank are thriving there. How do they do it? Banotsi Sinsap is in Indonesia to find out.
Thousands of islands, with an estimated 255 million citizens and growing. The land area, the size of the population, along with the ever-growing purchasing power of the people here, make Indonesia a great country to look to when you are thinking of making your next business move abroad.
Thai leading brands like SCG and Bangkok Bank, along with many other leading brands, are gaining quite a success in Indonesia. Bangkok Bank. The company came here since 1968 as the Bangkok Bank chairman Mr. Shin Sopon Panit had a vision to expand beyond Thailand's territory, and Indonesia in the late 1960s had started to open up and allow a number of foreign banks in. The company was able to receive a full license and has been operating a full service ever since.
We focus a lot of lending to the productive sector. Being from the agricultural-oriented countries, so we have the expertise to help the commodity sectors like both the upstream and downstream. Indonesia is looking to themselves to try to promote more of the infrastructure investment as well as the trade-related activities, and then they would need to bring in more of the foreign investment.
With more investment needed, the banking industry is doing well lending to the private sector, and with Thai standard of service quality and openness in sharing useful information with investors, many Thai business operators think of Bangkok Bank for financing and advice when coming to Indonesia. Another Thai giant, SCG, came here in 1995 and grew to be its biggest foreign branch compared to every other international place SCG have offices in.
ปัจจุบันนี้เรามี3กลุ่มธุรกิจหลักๆนะครับ
At the moment, we have 3 main groups of businesses here, which is SCG Cement and Building Materials, SCG Chemical, and SCG Packaging. Right now, we have 24 sub-companies in the group, and we have about 7,000 employees in Indonesia. We do a lot of things here and are expanding our business, especially in the downstream area of cement. We have a cement factory here, and the domestic consumption here is very high.
SCG factory is also very efficient, with efficient use of high technology and knowledgeable human resources, making them being able to supply what Indonesia needs to develop its infrastructure. Both Bangkok Bank and SCG said that the Indonesian market has high potential, and the domestic consumption here is very good, a good place for investment. However, the two suggested that investors coming in should also look at areas where there is demand, but not much competition or no producer for it yet. Investors do not invest abroad just to make money for a couple of years, but should consider sustainable development as well. For NBT World, I'm Panos Season in Jakarta, Indonesia.
Rivers threatened to overflow as floodwaters rose in parts of Texas due to storms over the weekend that killed at least 6 people. Aerial footage of Liberty County, Texas, northeast of Houston, showed properties inundated by water and a river widening its banks and rising close to bridge level. Parts of the state were lashed with heavy rains, causing flooding and the cancellation of dozens of flights as twisters were reported near Houston. A day after tornadoes ripped through buildings outside San Antonio and heavy rains swelled some rivers near Austin to record levels, the National Weather Service reported an apparent twister south of Houston in Brazoria County early on Saturday that damaged 25 trailer homes near the town of Alvin. With flash floods reported in several parts of the city, officials said Houston firefighters had performed more than 130 high water rescues since midnight on Friday. Thousands of migrants gathered at the border between Slovenia and Austria, many having waited hours to cross without food or water. There was a backlog of people waiting at the border after Austrian authorities had to temporarily halt the transport of migrants to emergency shelters because there were no places available. This left more than 3,000 people waiting on the Slovenian side of the border for hours before Austria was able to accept more. As night fell, many people used the branches of nearby trees to make fires. Some people could be seen burning old clothes to keep warm. The mood became quite tense as the queuing crowds tried to push past members of the Austrian army into Austria. The Colombian Navy rescued 20 Cuban migrants on an unregistered boat near the Gulf of Rabat towards the northwest of the country. Preliminary reports by the Navy have said that 15 men and 5 women were found 6.4 kilometers from the Atlantic coast, where it is suspected they had been adrift for 3 hours after 2 Colombian people traffickers abandoned them due to a failed motor. The boat was detected by a Coast Guard patrol unit dubbed Shark Cape, whose members suspected the migrants were aiming to reach Panama. The Cubans aboard, who had entered Colombia illegally by land through Venezuela, did not possess life jackets nor any other safety equipment. More than 500 illegal immigrants have been found by the Colombian Navy on the Caribbean side of the country so far this year. And astronauts aboard the International Space Station say experiments conducted on the orbiting laboratory will shape plans to eventually travel to Mars. Astronauts on board the International Space Station marked the orbiting laboratory's 15th anniversary on Monday. The station has been occupied continuously by humans since it became operational over a decade ago, a feat astronauts said could shape travel within the solar system. Astronauts are expected to conduct over 400 experiments on board the space station over the next year. Serious budget cuts in recent years have opened the door to more involvement from commercial enterprises. NASA had hoped to have the station outfitted with 2 new berthing slips before the end of the year, so that commercial space taxis under development by Boeing and Space Exploration Technologies, or SpaceX, would have places to park. And that is it for today's edition of Newsline. For any comments or suggestions, please feel free to email them to us at newsline.nbt@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook by simply typing in NNT. And do check out our website at thainews.prd.go.th/en. We're going to say goodbye with footage of Nam Tok Pai Si Thong, the 9-layer fall in Pismulo province. For Newsline, I'm Sandra Hanut Saha. Have a great day. Sawadee ka.